94.4 FM, the Friday Sports Show hosted with Petruzzi in New Zealand and around the world. Very fascinating guest on this show we've had today. We're a really interesting guest, fascinating guest. The Royal Butler is going to give us an insight on coughing etiquette this cold and flu season. So Grant Harrold, aka Royal Butler, etiquette expert. Welcome to the show. Great to have you on board.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you on board. I mean, it's winter season now, and people coughing and sneezing. And what are some things that our listeners can sort of take on board? Some awareness, because it can be awkward if we're sort of sneezing or coughing in a public space or anywhere, really, for that matter.
It can, and can I say, over the summer I had a cough, so I know exactly what that's like. And it's unfortunate having over the summer, because as you mentioned, it's normally these are the kind of things you have over the winter, but I was fully aware of how awkward it was, being in public areas. I was actually working on cruise ships as a speaker, so I was aware that having a cough was not ideal. I then started thinking about the etiquette, because I hadn't before, of coughing, or about what you should and shouldn't do. And then, which was amazing, was Vita actually got in touch, and who actually have products exactly for colds, flus, coughs, which have got Manuka honey in their products. So they are, if I can say, right up my street. They've also this winter got winter wellness helpers, which exactly to help with these kind of things. And as I mentioned, Manuka was something that in my time as a Royal Butler, I was very aware of it. I used to have it either as a spoon, as a spoonful of sugar. I was going to say like Mary Poppins, but a spoonful of Manuka honey. I used to have it in hot toddies, which is obviously with lemon, hot water, honey, a bit of whiskey. So this was genius when this came up, but what was amazing was their research was what really got me interested, because it's one thing when we talk about coughing etiquette or what you should or shouldn't do. The research opened up a whole entire another world, because I discovered that from 2,000 people that took part in this poll, that a fifth of them, 19%, said they had a cough of a fear of coughing in public, and that they would be judged. I thought that was quite low, because I'm obviously one of those 19%, and I thought most people in this day and age would be worried about coughing, but obviously 90% is quite low. And it went on to say that the worst place to have a coughing fit, 16% say in restaurants, 14% in offices, and 14% in public transport. Again, these numbers, just to me, seem really, really low, considering what we've all just gone through.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great shout, and that's what sort of came to mind too. I think, like prior to the pandemic, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about it, but obviously sort of during the pandemic, when we had the lockdown and someone just had the cough, a mile away, and everyone was sort of, really concerned. Do you think that sort of changed perceptions? I mean, maybe things are a little bit eased now, because I suppose for a lot of people it's becoming more and more of a distant memory, but do you think that's probably that heightened awareness among some people, may have been down to obviously sort of, we experienced a sort of, that sort of pandemic and the guidelines and obviously sort of like, that vigilance that we were all had during that period?
I don't really know. I mean, is wondering, is it people have just got not fed up, because I think people are still aware and worried about it, but if they maybe thought, I'm not going to worry as much. But I mean, one of the other stats that came out was 25% admitted to coughing the hands and then not washing their hands. So, back in COVID, during when COVID was at its peak, you'll remember that to wash our hands was one of the biggest things we had to do. And now, of 2,000 people, 25% are saying that they would wash their hands. So I thought this just shows you how times have changed. And I should mention that because of how we are as a nation when it comes to coughing and being in that situation myself, I've come up with my top tips, if I may share with you. Some of them are common sense, some of them I think most of us do, but it just got me thinking along the lines of always cough into a tissue or handkerchief. I know we don't all have handkerchiefs, but we do have tissues or kitchen roll that's in our kitchens that we use for mopping things up. I always carry some of that around with me. You can, I don't recommend it, but your sleeve, if you need to cough into sleeve rather than cough into the face of somebody next to you. I've always said sharing is caring, but in this situation, that is not, this kind of sharing is definitely not caring. if you do develop a cough, this very much applied to me at the time, try to conceal it. Easier said than done. Feeling that I apologise to people around you, which is what I ended up doing. I ended up apologising to everybody and assuring them that I'd done COVID tests and it wasn't COVID, which is the world we live in today. And the other one is based on what I said about not washing hands. I've actually do not shake hands with anyone or touch any surfaces until you have washed them thoroughly. And I thought this was common sense. I thought washing hands had become part of what we now do because of that, and to ensure we reduce these chances of getting bugs and germs and coughs and all the rest of it. But obviously, maybe people, as you said, maybe they feel differently about it now for whatever reason. And the last tip, if I may quickly give, is when you have a cough, make sure you've got handkerchiefs or tissues. Bottle of water is really helpful. And also, I take some medicine. Well, I take lozenges. So, Convita have these lozenges that I really like, and they're easy to carry around. And it's not a miracle cure. It's not going to sunny get rid of it, but they definitely help soothe it. And because they've got Manuka honey in them, they definitely make it. There's a benefit. I'm sure you know this with Manuka honey. There's an extraordinary benefit. It helps with inflammation. It definitely helps with infections and bugs. It's great for your immune system, and the higher level you go for, and you can get all this information on Convita's website. The higher levels obviously have got more benefits, so it's well worth looking into it and considering getting some of these, or just taking some Manuka honey in the winter as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I use it myself as a way to sort of, with coffee or tea, just rather than sugar. My personal preference as well. But there's some really, really good tips there. I think, and certainly a lot of them resonate with me. I certainly sort of, still carry a sanitizer around and tissue and make sure sort of not sort of coughing on somebody if I do have that as well. I think that's sort of, great to take on board. I think we've all been in a situation, I certainly have, where be it on a train or in a classroom where you've got someone who is sort of coughing, and I suppose it is sort of etiquette to not sort of cough in the direction of somebody, that's for sure. And like you said, we're sort of shaking hands. There's some really interesting tips. In terms of the research and Convita, would you be able to signpost some of our listeners where they can get some more information? It sounds interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's Convita. I've got convita.co.uk. Winter Essentials is the website, and under there you'll find Winter Wellness Helpers, which is exactly what I've just talked about, the lozenges, and there's other products there, which I'm also trying, because I think as I mentioned, because the Manuka benefits, I'm very keen on that. You get the research that they've done, and you'll get my top tips. I've got to quickly ask you, where your accent, where are you originally from?
From Australia originally. Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
No, the reason I was asking you is because you're not a million miles, obviously, from New Zealand, which is, as you know, is obviously where the Manuka honey is obviously kind of sourced from, and as you've mentioned, you're saying that you take it. I mean, I take it daily as well, and I don't know if people are aware of the benefits of it as well. I'm a huge lover of it, and I was introduced to it about 25 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to this day, I still enjoy taking it.
Yeah. I mean, I started like a few years back. It's sort of, I was looking for something to sort of substitute sugar. And then I started using it just in general, just even with like some hot water and lemon, and just try to, and then just sort of carried on, to be fair, with it. So the benefits are immense as far as I'm aware, and what I'm led to, based on what I've read in the research. But yeah, for sure. So it can only be a good thing. Yeah.
I think also, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think people that have come from Australia and New Zealand, they're very aware of the benefits of it, where maybe over here, people are aware, but probably not everybody is aware of the benefits. That's why I was asking, because I knew that with your accent, I thought you probably know all about it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, yeah, for sure. So it is sort of popular, and I look out for it whenever I go shopping and get honey, it's the one I use for sure. Whether other brands are as good or effective, I don't know, but this sort of works for me. So when you sort of find something that you sort of works for you, kind of sort of keep to it. That's what I've done with the Manuka. But that's some great information, really interesting, informative. I'll definitely sort of check it out for sure, and I'm sure at some point in the winter I'll have throat or some sort of cough or cold, really. So this might come in handy. But thanks for your time. It's been great speaking to you.
And thank you.
Yeah, have a great day.
Thanks, everyone on the show. Appreciate it.
Take
care.
Bye.
Bye.